The book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, and double honors unto the elder apostles, elder bishops, and brothers at Great Millstone. A salutation to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Rai Banyamyan, here to share another lesson. And the title of this lesson is Babylonians are selling plasma to make ends meet. As per this NBC news report. Now, Obadiah chapter 1, it speaks of the high-ranking elite members of the Edomite tribes, right? Mainly Esau, Amalek, and they. But the judgment is also going to happen to the middle class and underlings within those tribes as well. They are going to feel it, right? So since we are in these last days, economic times are hard. Many job losses are taking place, right? The money is not buying goods like it used to. Many Americans are turning to various methods of gaining extra money. They have tried the side gig, and that is becoming more expensive to maintain a household. It used to be where it was a good side hustle, whatever the gig is, whether it be Uber, Lyft, DoorDashing, or what have you, right? It was a good supplement to a person that had a 9-to-5 job, right? But now that is drying up, right? So, and now, instead of just having your main job and one side job, you have a lot of Americans are working 3 and 4 jobs to make ends meet. And that is wearing out their mind and their body. So now they have resort to donating plasma to make ends meet. Alright. So before I play the video, we go into what is plasma. And it says here, plasma is a pale yellow liquid component of blood that makes up about 55% of its total volume, acting as the medium for transporting blood cells, nutrients, hormones, and proteins throughout the body. It is primarily composed of 92% water, with the remaining consisting of vital proteins such as albumin and clotting factors, electrolytes, and waste products. Key functions and components: transportation, carries nutrients, hormones, and proteins to tissues and removes cellular waste products. Clotting contains essential proteins like fibrinogen that enable blood clotting to stop bleeding. Immunity contains antibody immunoglobulins that help fight infections. Balance helps maintain proper blood pressure, volume, and pH balance. Plasma in medicine, often called liquid gold. Plasma is separated from whole blood via a process called plasmapheresis, and is crucial for treating trauma, burns, shock, and immune disorders. It is also used to develop therapies for rare diseases because it is quickly replaced by the body. Plasma can be donated as often as twice in 1 week, right? So as far as this is concerned, is a vital process for healing wounds and different disorders, right? So it is an essential function of the body, and this is what these Edomites are resorting to, rather than just doing it to help research on patients, right? Which is once in a blue moon. They are doing it as much as possible, as is allowed. It says here twice in 1 week, right? Just to help them pay bills, which further builds Esau's system, because these bills that they are paying, it goes back into Esau's coffers. All right. So, you know what? Before I play the video to NBC News, fair use policy, fair use disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So my channel is not monetized. I'm using your video for commenting and teaching purposes. Fair use news, NBC News. So here we go.
America's newest side hustle isn't your usual gig, and it tells a prickly story about the U.S. economy. People selling blood just to get by.
It was out of necessity.
Like Ian Pleasant, who started donating at this center outside Philadelphia after being hit by a car and breaking his leg.
It was a lifesaver. It even paid my rent.
A lifesaver for him and the patients on the other end, with researchers saying the U.S. provides around 70% of the world's plasma, that gooey substance that transports the essential cells and nutrients our body needs. Ian is one of an estimated 200,000 people that walk into plasma centers like this every day across the country to sell their blood plasma for money.
People will come in and use this money to supplement their income. For a lot of people, it's their lifeline to afford that little thing that's extra.
A booming market worth more than $30 billion now, pumping through the veins of American households. Collections up about 30% in the last 3 years. There are now more plasma centers than Costco's across the nation.
The U.S. has a really incredible demand for this product, and that obviously saves a lot of lives and helps a lot of people.
Filling that demand are cash-strapped Americans, ranging from college students who told Rolling Stone they were looking for some extra cash to afford Harry Styles tickets, to middle-class workers struggling with rising costs and a slowing job market. Jill Chamberlain in Scottsdale, Arizona, used to make $87,000 a year overseeing the finances for local business until she was laid off in August 2024. Now she works more than 80 hours a week to barely cover her bills. Twice a week, before work, she sells her plasma.
Everything that
I'll pause it there for a minute now. Even though you see Edomites doing it, right? Who did they show first? They show Jake, right? Which is the poor in society, the widow, the fatherless. You understand? So as this thing get worse, those that have not repented unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, they're gonna be in a worse case out here, man.
get from here or the other overtime jobs is food, it's power, it's gas in my car, it's car insurance. One day it will fix my sunroof.
Chamberlain makes about $400 a month from her plasma, but she says it leaves her exhausted and frustrated.
I chickened out for the first 2 months. I went and then backed out and went and backed out, and it was just too scary.
You were afraid to do it?
Yeah, there's a lot of stigma attached to it, and I wanted to find other solutions before I went that far.
Critics say the plasma sellers getting about $50 a session isn't enough and point out that the U.S. is one of the few countries that allows payment for plasma and for people to sell as often, twice a week. But plasma companies say they're meeting a critical need.
Yes, the companies make billions when they collect plasma. But guess what? Donors receive billions in return. And the other nice thing about this is that these plasma centers are located in the communities that need that money the most.
Peter Jaworski is a researcher at Georgetown University studying the ethics and economics of blood plasma collection. He says compensation is key to the system working.
If we did not compensate donors, the whole world would have a massive shortage.
Selling plasma is generally considered safe, but side effects include fatigue, dizziness, and in rare cases, severe reactions. And there's limited data on what frequent long-term donation does to the body. But for Jill, it's not just about the physical effects. It's about working more than ever and still coming up short.
We always heard the middle class was disappearing, but really, really quickly. The rich are getting richer, and the rest of us are sinking quickly.
A rapidly growing industry built on life-saving science and the blood of financially stretched Americans. Shannon Pettypiece, NBC News.
All right, so there you have it, man. But the return is still small compared to the output, right? $50, per session. That is nothing compared to how much they rake in for different surgeries, research, and procedures. Alright, so I'm going to go into the comment section real quick. One person says, bro, this is beyond depressing. And this is America. Not some country in Africa somewhere. Some two-world country, as they say. Alright. I think plasma centers should pay people more than $50. This system is literally a bloodsucker. I did this for a while. It felt like selling my soul. Yeah, so a lot of people, is going to give themselves in these last days. You have to understand where things are going. They want the elites of the society, the wicked. They want the citizens of this country and the world so desperate, right, that when they bring out the mark of the beast, the MOTB, that it will be an easy transition. There wouldn't be any much resistance because of how bad the economic situation is in society. So, these Babylonians, they have tried side jobs, multiple jobs, right? Now they donating plasma, man, just to make ends meet. Right? Meanwhile, they sell plasma for $3,000. We have a failed society. $50 is not enough. The companies are making billions. Poor people have done this for years, which I've known. This is too depressing. Yeah, so these are the times we live in. This is dystopia. Right? The Most High said that he would put curses upon our enemies, and we grab that in the book of Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, because this is something you would never think that you would see. But there's Jakes in there doing it because they are the poor. But the Edomites always had more wealth than Jake, so it's catching up. The wickedness that they have done, right, unto the children of Israel is catching up to them. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7. It says, and the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and upon and them that hate thee and persecuted thee, right? When you go into Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, it lists all the curses that the Most High put upon us for our disobedience and worshiping of other idols, right? So he's putting that poverty and stuff on them, where now they are working and the fruits of their labor and not to their benefit, man. You understand? And it's all because of the elites is putting the grind on everybody. They are not sharing in the wealth across the board to the lower Edomites under them. So these people have gotten to the point where they are giving themselves now. They have tried everything to maintain their status in society. So now they are giving their bodies. And when I saw that, it was reminiscent to what Joseph had to deal with the Egyptians during the time of famine. And I'll just read that really quick, the account. All right, because these are the times that we are living in, man. Famine of jobs, famine the food, especially famine of the wood that is coming up. All right, where this wine would not be available anymore. So this is Genesis chapter 47 and 13. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house, right? His banks, his treasuries, right? So the people paid money, right, for the corn that Joseph was selling. Because remember, the dream that Pharaoh had, he was able to interpret it, right? So he advised Pharaoh to stock up on different things to endure during the famine, right? And the people was able to come and pay money to Joseph that was under the Pharaoh who had given him authority over these things. Verse 15, and when money failed in the land, they ran out of money. And when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. And Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle if the money fail. Right? So you give them bread and stuff like that, and different goods for their cattle. Salakia. Alright. So see how we keep changing as time went by. First was the money ran out. Then they give cattle for bread and other essentials. Right? And check this out. Verse 17. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses and for the flocks and for the cattle of the herds and for the asses, and he fed them with bread for all their cattle that year, for that year. When that year was ended, they came unto him the second year and said unto him, we will not hide it from my Lord, how that our money is spent. My Lord also had our herds of cattle, and there is not aught left in the sight of my Lord, but our bodies and our lands. You see? Right? Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh, and give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land be not desolate. Verse 21, and Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them. So the land became Pharaoh's. And as for the people, he removed them to cities from one end of the borders of Egypt even to the other thereof. Right? So they became slaves. So they tried everything, the money, the cattle, right, their herds, then their land and themselves. So they give themselves. You understand? So we are in a economic famine right now, right? So these people, they have tried working extra jobs, right? They tried one side hustle, that wasn't working. Now they are working 3 and 4 jobs, that is not working. So they are giving themselves, which is selling their plasma. But it's not over yet. That is not going to work, right? And eventually, in order to get bread, in order to eat, in Revelation 13 and 16, it says, I'm going to butcher it. All right. All right. It says, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So these people, they are going to jump at the opportunity so that they may eat, right? So that they may live when they take the mark of the beast, the MOTB. And even then, there is deception in it, because Esau is not going to play fear even with that. The people will be deceived. You understand? But the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shah, has his elect. They are not going to resort to these things, man. He is going to take care of them through various miracles, right? So we are seeing the fall of our enemy. So for you, Jakes, repent so that you won't have to endure these things at the end, man. Again, Babylonians are selling plasma to make ends meet. This place is done. Shalom.